3-0.
I think they're down.
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Night.
Actually, you did say so. I'll get to this Windhorse sound in a minute. But, okay, you said that if you look at the Celtics, this is one of the historically greatest teams, and nobody really thinks of them that way. I will say this. I'm watching them last night, and I did say to myself, this team could be a problem for a little while.
Boston.
I know, I joke with my main man Guru about every team that wins a title now is going to have a dynasty. But man, who's beating the Boston Celtics? They're intact for at least 2 more years. They fit together, and I also think it's funny. And I fell victim to this all year long. I was like, there's something about Boston. I just don't know. I don't think they're ready. Something about Boston. I don't know. They're the best team by far in the NBA. All right. I mean,
that's how you win 64 games. I mean, you're the best team. Now, I think, because I put this out on Twitter last night, because I was just curious. I think it's going to be fascinating to look back on how we remember, say, this Celtics team. Because we look back on, again, the anniversary of the 2017 Warriors team to finish up a 16-1 postseason run. That happened today,
right,
7 years ago. Okay, that team is historic. It's the best team that I've ever seen in my lifetime that's been assembled. Obviously, Curry, Clay, KD, Draymond, Iguodala, all in their prime. I don't think there's going to be another team in my lifetime that can touch that. If there is, well, I want to watch it. But these Celtics statistically are in the same category. If you look at the net rating, so, offensive to defensive rating, they're in the same class as the 2017 Warriors.
Right.
But when you watch them play, there's an obvious difference. Like, that Warriors team won 16-1. The Celtics team has a chance to go 16-2 through the playoffs. I think that Warriors team won 67 games. This Celtics team won 64 games. But the eye test, to me, says that there's just a chasm between the two. And I swear it's not just Warriors goggles. Like, that Warriors team felt inevitable. I think there was a lot of traction around these finals because people didn't believe in these Celtics, that there was going to be some series, an instance in which, like last year, that they were going to get beat by a 7 seed in Miami who got to the finals. There was some fraudulence about them. And it's clear watching this series. And I just figured, I thought that Boston was a bad matchup for Dallas. I didn't think that Dallas was the best team in the West. I think the best team in the Western Conference was one of the 2 teams that played each other in Minnesota or Denver. That's besides the point. But Boston's just going to essentially cakewalk to this championship, and it doesn't feel like people are going to look at them as if they are historic. And I don't think they should. But everything on paper has them in the same category as the 2017 KD and Steph Curry-led Warriors. It's just fascinating to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'm not big on the greatest team of all time and who is it, but I'm hearing Jason Kidd say Jaylen Brown's the best player, and I thought, you know what, I think Jrue Holiday might be the best player.
I think Tatum's the best player.
Tatum could be the best player, but that's why I'm looking at this team now and saying, who's going to beat them? Because their top 3 players are all great. I get Jrue Holiday's 30, and this is the thing I was talking to Carter about before the show. I'm not crazy about Porzingis, but if he's your 4th best player, I mean, you got to be kidding me. Like, that team is good, and they're not going anywhere. They're long. They got 3 stars. They got a wild card in Porzingis. Pretty. They're in the East, which is going to help them because they're going to be able to get to the finals with, without as much duress as the Western Conference teams, you would think, all things being equal. Uh-oh. Let's get to Robin in San Francisco. She doesn't like what you did there. What's up, Robin?
Hi, how are you guys doing? Evan, I just got down your road a little bit. Let me say this first to Simon. I don't know how old Evan is, but I know how old you and I are. And so I'm old enough to remember the Boston Celtics of the 80s. You know, even before, with JoJo White, John Havlicek, Dave Cowens, you know, the old school. And before the big three, you know, after that, the big three was formed with, you know, Parrish and Cowan and McHale, okay? So, you know, I want to let Evan know this. Don't ever, we're not talking about the past. Please don't ever compare this Boston Celtic team to the Warriors of 2017, of any era of the Warriors when they ruled. Now, to me, the Celtics, I'm still not a believer. I believe more so that they have more depth and a little bit more experience, and it's about time to get there. But Jason Tatum still hasn't showed up. I know his job is the score, but he's been doing other things, but he still ain't showed up, and everybody gonna blow him up like a superstar. And when you look at him, he really hasn't done that, you know, this season and this postseason. If you look at him, so and Al Horford, all he do is stand in the corner and shoot threes. I'm just saying, I could break it down all the way, and in terms so they're outplaying the Mavericks for whatever reason, but they do not dominate. They do not dominate the way the Warriors did when they run. They simply do not. So please don't ever insult the Golden State Warriors by comparing them to this Boston Celtics. Peace out, you guys.
Thank you, Robin. Appreciate it. If Robin hadn't have said it, I would have.
Yeah, but you were actually listening to me. I love Robin. Did you not hear the comparison is on paper?
Well, you brought it up. I mean,
literally
to even bring it up is
the
offensive.
eye test, did I not just say they're a chasm away from each other? Like the Warriors and the Celtics?
That part I didn't hear.
I'm saying on paper.
I thought you said crack. They're a crack away from them. Like a sidewalk.
Speckle?
Yeah, like a sidewalk crack.
By the way, if you really want me to go down this road, I will. So the Warriors in the first round that year, they swept a 500 Blazers team. Congrats. Round 2, they beat a Jazz team. It was led by Gordon Hayward and Rudy Gobert. Congrats. And then in 2017, Zaza Pachulia slips under Kawhi Leonard, knocks him out for the series in a game they might have blown after being up by 20. And then you go on to beat LeBron James and you lose a game. So the paths are not dissimilar. I'm just saying. Again, there is a chasm between the 2017 Warriors and the 2024 Boston Celtics.
Well,
I just started looking at, because again,
I wouldn't say chasm, but that's just wordplay.
Well, apparently the fact that we're mentioning them in the same sense is disrespectful to some. So I just have to reiterate that I think there's a chasm between the two teams.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, the year the Warriors went 16-1 in the playoffs, what was their regular season record?
67-15.
Okay, so everybody's in the same ballpark here.
That's my point.
Right. So don't say it's a chasm. That's all.
Well, apparently I can't bring them up at all because it's disrespectful. And now the fact that I say that it's a chasm, to reiterate my point that I wasn't comparing the two via the eye test, is also disrespectful to the Celtics, according to you.
I'll tell you this.
What side are you on? Are you on Robin's
right
side?
in the middle.
Oh, my God.
I'm right in the middle. I will say this.
I'll fall on the sword.
I'll tell you this. I don't care. Pick a version of the Warriors that you think was their best version. They ain't sweeping this year's Celtics. Warriors would not sweep the Celtics of this year.
Yeah, Robin, call in about that, please.
I mean, they couldn't even sweep the Cavs. The Cavs stunk. Mm-hmm. No, but anyway.
That Cavaliers team, they lost one game on the road to the finals.
They stunk.
That Cavaliers team was good.
Who'd they have? That's the year
LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love.
Right, but they didn't play in the finals.
No, they did. That was 2015.
No, Love didn't play in the finals.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't, did he?
In 2017 against KD?
Well, Kyrie wasn't on that team.
Yes, he was.
They lost. No, I don't think so.
That was the year that KD in Game 3 hit the go-ahead 3 over LeBron in transition in Cleveland.
Yeah, tight game. Game was tight.
Yeah, Kevin Love played all 5 games of that series.
He was a shell of himself, though.
That's... I don't know how I got twisted into this corner.
You know what? I'll bail everybody out. The greatest team of all time was the 86 Celtics. I mean...
I also said this is the greatest team I've ever seen. I don't know.
No, the Warriors team, you're saying.
Yeah, that's my point. I don't know.
I don't have a problem with it.
No, I know. Sorry. I'm getting lost in apparently the 8 people on the text line that disagree with me.
Well, they don't matter.
No, they don't.
We learned that the other day.
Yes, we did.
No,
I just think it's interesting that again, like this Celtics team is by mathematical standards, like very good.
Yes.
They have the best offensive rating of all time. Their net rating is exactly the same as the 2017 Warriors. And so I threw on Twitter last night at Evan A. Giddings, how are we going to remember this team? Because I'm just curious. Like, if you watch them play, if you watch the entire postseason run of the Celtics, I don't think you would, like, it wouldn't be a comparison. You wouldn't put them in the same class as the Warriors.
I agree.
And yet, on paper, they are.
Right. No, I listen.
I think it's just,
I'm messing with you. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you're right. This Celtics team's not going to be thought of as the 96 Bulls or the
My one
whatever
mulligan
best
is the
version
Warriors
of the
blowing
Warriors.
Game 4 of that final, so they could have had a perfect walk to the postseason.
Well, I mean, if you really want to get into it, the reason that I don't think the 96 Bulls are the greatest team ever is because they lost 3 times in the postseason.
No, they're gutless.
I mean, the Warriors went 16-1 in the postseason. That matters. You're beating playoff. You swept 3 out of 4 series. The Bulls didn't do that when Jordan's last year.
Well,
they lost 2 games in a row to the Sonics, didn't they?
Well, how many teams? It was just the 2000 Lakers, right? And they went 16-1 only because Iverson had 50 in Game 1 of the finals.
Right. I think so. Nobody's gone 16-0 in the postseason.
No, I don't believe so.
Well, the other reason why is because it's a relatively new format where they've had 4 7-game series.
Well, even back in the day, were there teams that had to go through multiple series that swept on their way to a championship?
One more time.
Pre 7-game first round series.
Right.
Was there anybody that went undefeated through the playoffs, in which they had to win multiple series, not just back in the day in which it was, the top 2 teams?
I'm going to say no.
I don't think so.
But the one thing I remember about, let's say, 1983, when the Philadelphia 76ers won it, that's when Moses Malone famously said, faux, meaning 3 sweeps in a row. Now, they did lose 1 game. They were 12-1. They only had 3 rounds. The NBA used to be, the playoffs used to be better in the NBA.
Oh, of course they were. Huh?
They used to have 3-game series. That gets you to urgency in a hurry.
That's unfair for a top seed.
Why? Well, first of all, when they
might come out flat.
When they had 3-game series, the number 1 seed had a bye in the first round.
Well, then I like it.
Yeah,
It's more beneficial than, say, baseball, where the top seed has to sit out. That actually hurts them, I think.
Because rust versus rest?
Yeah, it's more applicable in baseball than basketball.
See, in 2009, best team ever was the Shaq-Kobe Lakers.
There you go.
They can stake their claim to that. They went 15-1. So that means the first series was still 5 games. Gotcha.
Well, and I think one of the reasons, look, when Durant got to the Warriors, it just became unfair. But I'm kind of with the 925 and the Xfinity Mobile text line here, which is, the Celtics need to basically do it again. In order to prove how good this team was, they do need to win again in the near future. And to your point, Steiny, I think they are set up to do that. I mean, they have literally everyone in their playoff rotation right now, I think outside of maybe Xavier Tillman, under contract for next season. And the only 2 that come off the books anytime soon would be Derek White and Al Horford, who's almost 40. So they're in pretty good position.
No, I think they are too. And I also think while you can, let's say you're the Philadelphia 76ers or the Milwaukee Bucks, you're obviously trying to figure out how to get back on top of the Celtics or get on top of the Celtics. But the reality to me always is the only way you do that is by making changes. And then you, in a way, kind of have to start over a little bit. And you can do it over the course of a year, but it's also a little bit risky. Why the hell did the Bucks trade Jrue Holiday? Oh, my gosh.
That's Giannis.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. You talk to people around the league, I would say Jrue Holiday's probably the most underrated player in the league. He's among the most underrated players in the league.
I think a lot of people, like, he's becoming more properly rated because of how much, like, he's the best perimeter defender in basketball.
He might be the
best overall.
He might be.
Like, he can change the game that much. The one thing about Jrue I think is interesting is he's 34 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a spring chicken.
No.
And he's still able to play 40 minutes a night for 4 straight series.
Exactly. Well, the other thing about Jrue Holiday is if you put Jrue Holiday on a power forward, it doesn't mean he can shut the power forward down. But what it means is you can put Jrue Holiday on a much bigger player, and you will never pay the price for it. Like, they're not just going to go to that guy and he's going to be able to dominate Jrue Holiday. That's why Jrue Holiday is a great defender. I think that's been the difference in the series is they can switch everything. Remember when the last time we heard that? It was about the Warrior teams. I mean, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Jrue Holiday, they're all big enough that they can hang in there when they get switched up on somebody bigger or quicker.
Well, that's why as much as I wasn't a fan of the way that Luka finished the game last night, I don't really think that Windhorst killing him is fair. Well, Brian Windhorst I'm talking about. We maybe could play that sound on the other side.
Yeah, it's pretty strong, let's put it that way. The 925, and I do think this is part of it, and this is, I think, what Robin was talking about. And I'm just messing with you, but these two teams aren't comparable to the Warriors. And he brings up the fact that, remember, the Warriors would, like, Steph Curry didn't play 18 fourth quarters because they were winning so handily. Now, I know that was in the regular season, but that is something. I mean, the Celtics have been great, but they've had games they could have lost. Those Warrior teams, I do think, were a little bit
By the way,
more dominant.
Our guy Justin from engineering just texted me, 0-1 Lakers are the best team of all time.
Well, it's official then. If that's what Jay says, then it goes. That last, we're gonna play this sound for you on the other side. Evan's got a bone. He's got a bone, and he's gonna pick it.
It's in the fridge.
And was sponsored by Safeway.
Head to Safeway this week